everybody, it's Tameka from Melpop, and I'm here to add more to our holiday content. This one will be more focused on podcasts and travel. Everything about travel is just so stressful, and the anxiety levels are always on 10. And I need to have my podcast saved for the journey. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you guys some of my favorite podcasts that I like to listen to while I'm on my plane, my train, my automobile, my Uber, or my Lyft, getting to my family and my friends for the holidays. Okay, so I think I'm going to break this down and do 3 and 3. So I have 3 podcasts that are more entertaining and kind of ratchet, but they're so much fun and I enjoy listening to them. And then the other 3 are more, they help my mind. They help my understanding of the world. They, especially from a perspective of a young person of color, they also uplift me and they cause me to just focus and maintain the drive that I need. The first one that I want to highlight is called The Read. Now, The Read was my kind of intro to podcasts. I think that's the podcast that I've been listening to the longest. But it's 2 young Black queer people, and they are just unashamedly themselves. They talk about everything that's going on in society and culture. I mean, Black culture specifically. They talk about the mess, and then at the end of every read, at the end of every show, they read a person. And if you don't know what a read is, you will know if you've ever been read. I'm sure. But so they read someone at the end of every single episode, and most of the time I'm right with them. But I love that podcast. I will be walking down the street in hysterics. Do you hear me? Hysterics. People will be like, what is wrong with her? And I'll be like, mind your business. So there's The Read. Everybody listens to The Read. Kid Fury, Crystals, and they post every week on like Wednesday. But I always save them and I'll like pile them up and then try to like binge them so I get it all in one shot. So if you want to, for the holidays, just save a few and then save it for the road. The next podcast that I'm going to talk about is called The Friendzone. Now, I learned about the Friendzone through The Read. And one thing that I love about the Friendzone is it's 3 completely different people, and they give us their outlook on different topics. You get so many different voices in that podcast that you are bound to be able to connect with someone. It's Asante, Hey Francesca, and Dustin Ross. So they all have their own unique specialties when it comes to the podcast. Asante is a big music person. That's where I get all my good music from. Like I'll put on something in a car in a playlist, and people are like, oh, what's this? And I'm like, I heard about it on the Friendzone. You know? So the Asante is big on music. Fran is health and wellness and just the through, like, I feel like she keeps everything kind of like, I don't know where the words are, but this. You see what I'm saying? She keeps it this. And Dustin Ross, the actor, he gives us the TV Land segment. But Dustin is hilarious. Do you hear me? The one-liners for days, connecting things from the culture to just the way he responds to things. He's amazing. Anyway, so that's the Friendzone. Listen to the Friendzone. I appreciate how I got to know about the Friendzone through The Read, and then they're all like the circle of friends, and they uplift each other and they support each other, and they even highlight and shout out their other friends and what they're doing. And their whole vibe is something that you need in your life. You're welcome. Last podcast that I'm going to highlight from like the fun kind of section would be 2 Dope Queens. Now, 2 Dope Queens is Jessica Williams and Phoebe Robinson. They are both hilarious, but together, what's the word for more hilarious? Hilarious, sir. It's just funny. They highlight different comedians. They'll have different segments, and then they sometimes have a special guest. They usually have a special guest that they'll interview who is also hilarious. But it's just two black girls just being great. And then on top of that, their careers are also like on the rise, and watching them just skyrocket is everything for me. Most recently, Jessica Williams had a Netflix movie called The Incredible Jessica James. And when I tell you I connected with that character, connection. Like, representation matters, people. This is why we do this. Do you hear me? Representation, it matters. And these two women, they are doing it. And they are doing it for the awkward black girls. Now, on the other side, I'm going to highlight 3 podcasts that enrich my mental state. Everything that it takes to kind of survive in this country, in the United States of America, as a woman of color, as a black woman. So the first one I'm going to highlight is My Taught You, and that is with Myleik Teele. She is the founder of Curlbox, and she has a story that will resonate with most, because it wasn't just a completely upward trajectory. It was up and some plateau, and then up some more, and then some plateau. So I love listening to Myleik's advice on her work ethic, just her grind, and not letting things, and taking life as it happens for what it is, and then using it as a learning tool to apply to whatever move she makes next. And just watching her maneuver through her career and through her choices and what she chooses to share with us on social media and via the podcast, it's amazing. I think you should listen to it. The next one is an NPR podcast. It's called Codeswitch. Now, code switching in itself, if you don't know what that word means, it's something that most people of color, black people, that we all do. There's a certain way you act with your friends and family, and then there's a certain way you act with your employer and when you're looking for a job or when you're with non-people of color. So code switching is something that is a part of our regular everyday life. You will do it. If you're a person of color, you have code switched. Trust me. And this podcast just talks about, it has different topics that focus on black people, on Latinas, on Middle Eastern people, and the way we interact with our country and where our cultures come from, and different things that we have to deal with as people of color in this society. And it has been so beneficial for me to be able to see myself through a lens where I'm not alone, if that makes sense. So whenever I feel like I'm going through something, I feel like this is only happening to me. This can't be happening to anybody else. And in listening to other people of color, and that's naive, it's a little ignorant, but it's something that is necessary for me to be able to understand that, you know, I'm not alone in this, and that there is someone who can help me understand what I'm feeling and where it comes from. So that's why I listen to Codeswitch. The last one, it started off as for colored nerds. It's 2 hosts. They would talk about all types of things. They recently transitioned that podcast into another podcast called The Nod, which highlights things about black culture that we all know, but it's being explained and break down to people who may not know what that means. Like, I remember one episode where they talk about grape flavored things, and why do I love grape Jolly Ranchers or grape soda? And then they broke down the history of that specific grape flavor and how it ended up in minority communities. Like, who Who? What? So I love the Nod. I listen to that podcast as well. But those are my 6 podcasts that I listen to. I suggest you follow them all. Start saving some of the episodes. Have them saved for you when you go onto your planes and trains and things, so you can listen to them while you're dealing with TSA. Next, I'm going to highlight a product that I recently bought. This is by Lauren Napier. It's called Cleanse, and they're makeup wipes. And Lauren got this idea for her line while she was traveling. So while she was traveling, she thought about, what could I add to this experience that would make it more pleasurable and less stressful and all these things. And that's how she came up with her line, which is amazing. It's perfect for the world traveler. It's for freshening up, which is what I use it for, but also for removing makeup before bed. It's ideal for men too. So the fabric that she uses, this comes in a big pack, but it has smaller packs on the inside if I can open it. But it has smaller packs that are easy for travel, so you can pack a few of these in your carry-on bag, or even for guys to put them in your pocket. Like, they're super easy to travel with, and then you can get like wiping your face. It doesn't leave any residue. That was the big thing, that when you're wiping everything for guys, especially with mustaches and beards, it's not going to leave any sort of like fuzzies in your hair, because that's not cute. But it won't leave anything like that in your hair, and you'll be completely fine. It's 100% recyclable, cruelty-free, no animal testing, and it's manufactured using solar energy. It's women-owned and operated. Do you see how amazing that is? That is amazing. For someone to put so much effort into how their product affects everything else, aside from that, okay, I'm rambling. But Lauren Napier Cleanse Wipes, get them. Also, I ordered from a line called Cocoa Butter Mothers, which is based in Maryland. I ordered the Goddess Glow Hydrating Beauty Oil, because again, one thing I like to do when I'm on the road is I like to make sure I stay moisturized and things. I have oils and things that are keeping me calm, keeping me hydrated, and just making me glow, because when I get there, I'm going to cleanse my face again, maybe put a little beat together before I see my family and friends. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I wanted to highlight the podcast. That's Friendzone Pod, The Read, Two Dope Queens, My Taught You, Codeswitch, and The Nod. Also, my Lauren Napier Cleanse Wipes, and my order that's coming, and I will make a video for that when I get it, for Cocoa Butter Mothers. I hope you guys have a really good holiday season, and listen to all the podcasts and eat, but not too much, and just enjoy. Make your traveling experience enjoyable. And you can do that while supporting your Black-owned businesses. You know what I'm saying? So just everybody have a good holiday, and I'll talk to you next time. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We are everywhere at Official Myleik, at Official Myleik. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I think that's it. Have a good holiday. Bye.